Alright, I'm going to show you how I sculpted the baby pumpkin imps for our 2021 Grimwood Hollow yard haunt. I used my favorite clay called Monumelt, which was specially formulated for the effects industry and has no sulfur. And I'm using just some simple wire loop Kemper tools and a disposable brush for smoothing. First, I made some simple tinfoil balls as an armature and hot glued them to a foam core base. Then I sliced up some clay, heated it in the microwave, and started to trowel it on with a popsicle stick. And then I quickly start to build up the shape of the pumpkin heads. And here's the basic shapes of each head with some plastic spheres I used for eyes. So now I start to block in their form, concentrating mostly on its expression and attitude. Don't worry about details yet. You want to always start by blocking in a good form first. Then the details can come later. You can see I'm just mostly concentrating on the shape of the pumpkin and the expression in his face. Most of the details like the wrinkles and eyelids are going to be very rough still at this point. The shape of the mouth and the direction of the eyebrows are what will define most of his expression. I wanted this one to look silly and confused, so he has one raised brow and a puckered mouth. And this is as far as I'm going to take it for now, just a quick rough sculpt that captures the general idea. So I set this one aside for now and start roughing out the second baby imp. Again, I start by building up just simple shapes and working on his form. I work out the brow ridge, the mouth slit, the eyelids, the nose, and just all of the main facial features and begin to capture his personality. I also start to shape the ridges and the form of the pumpkin. I do a little more to define his sad expression, and then I put this one aside for now too. Now it was time to rough out the third baby imp head. This one I wanted to have more of a mischievous or sinister attitude. So I built up large downturned eyebrows and a broad grin with large cheeks to really push his wicked expression. Again, I only wanted to concentrate on roughing out his main form and attitude. I used my loop tools to carve the clay and shape it, and then I used the wooden end to push and manipulate the clay. And here's the three roughed out baby pumpkin imps. I wanted to get them all to this same stage and make sure they look good together, each with its own personality, before finishing and cleaning up the sculptures. So now that I was happy with them, it was time to dial in the details and clean them up. At this stage, I really spend a lot of time refining all his shapes and form and punching in the details, really working out and cleaning up all the wrinkles, eyelids, and facial features. Okay, I think that's as far as we need to go with the details. He's looking pretty good. And now it was time for the final step, to wash out or smooth out the sculpture with rubbing alcohol. You don't have to have 99%, it's just what I had. Alcohol is a solvent for plastilina clay, and it can really clean it up and smooth it out. I use a small flat edge paintbrush, I dip it in the alcohol, and then touch it to a paper towel, just to get the excess alcohol out of it. And then with the brush just damp, I start to smooth out the clay by brushing over it. It's also good to keep that paper towel next to you so that you can clean the clay sludge off of your brush as it builds up. You will also notice that I am constantly switching between my brush and my sculpting tools. I use the loop tools to smooth rough spots and remove clay nuggets. Then I do final smoothing with the brush and alcohol. And here's the finished sculpture. You can see how the alcohol and brush really smoothed out the clay and blended the shapes. And I honestly don't worry about making these perfect. I actually feel like imperfections and weird anomalies just add to the character of Halloween creations. So now I dial in the details and clean up the other two heads. Again, you will notice me constantly switching back and forth between my tools and the brush and alcohol to smooth these out. Alright, this one's looking pretty good, and now it's on to the last one. I also use the brush and alcohol to clean off any clay that's stuck on the eyes. That way they're nice and clean before making the molds. Okay, I think he's good to go too. The last thing I added was the Grimwood hollow and date stamp to the top of the sculptures. And here's the finished baby pumpkin imp sculptures. I did some shots in different lighting and also some quick turnarounds for you guys to check out. So now that the sculptures are completed, we'll be making molds on them, casting them out of urethane and foam, and then attaching those real pumpkin stems to the tops of them. So I think these turned out pretty fun. Again, I just wanted to keep these sculptures really loose but with some silly personality. Remember, when sculpting Halloween props, don't overthink it, just have fun and keep it simple and creative. And don't be afraid to use reference for help and inspiration. So there you have it, the baby pumpkin imp sculptures. And coming soon in part 2, we will be showing you a step-by-step tutorial of how we created the silicone molds of these crazy little heads. So stay tuned for all of our making of videos and tutorials for everything we created from Grimwood Hollow 2021. Thanks again so much for watching. We'll see you soon.